Wonderful. Hello, everyone. I've already introduced myself to Marion, who's new in here. Jackie and I have already met. Without further ado, because I've got a lot to get through in half an hour, I'm going to get on, and partly because I have to literally leave at dead on 5 because I have to be on a leaders call with the directors at 5 o'clock. So it's a complete quick turnaround. So today is all about helping you find your mojo. That's the modern word, isn't it, for motivation, I believe. So first of all, I hope you've got a pen and paper to hand, because this is going to be quite interactive. You don't have to say things, but you will want to write stuff down and do stuff. So first of all, I want you to write down on a sheet of paper one number under the other, starting at 10 and go 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. There's a reason you're going to do that. And when you've done that, I want you to write above the 10, super motivated, excited and energized.
Super motivated.
That lot, really good. The only thing I've got to write it at the moment with this hoofoil.
Okay, and then at the bottom under the 1, I want you to write as good as dead. I'm doing extremes here on purpose.
So super motivated, what, and energized?
Excited.
Excited.
Right.
All right, and then at the bottom under the 1, as good as dead. And I know that I'm being extreme, but I'm doing it on purpose, because you will understand that everything in between is a scale. So if we took, for example, 5 is you're sort of, yeah, you want to do it, but it's more about know how to get yourself going. Yeah. So what I want you to do now is I want you to decide on a number in terms of excitement, motivation and inspiration. I want you to circle the number that you think you're at. Yeah, this is quite important. Now, we used to do this in the training room many years ago in a different format, and it used to be about prospecting, but this is also very relevant, I feel, for helping you. So I'm going to say to you, I'm going to just ask, you can put up a hand, is anyone above 8? They're that excited, motivated, inspired. They're seriously into super action. No? Anybody around about 6 or 7? Oh, that's good. That's good. Anybody below 5? Somewhere below 5? That's fine. Honesty is great. No, that's super. Okay, so the aim of this is to, wherever you currently have circled, my aim in half an hour, which is actually quite a ridiculous thing to try and achieve, is to try and move you up the scale, at least 2 or 3 places. Okay, that's what I want to do. So first of all, I'm going to ask you some rhetorical questions that you don't have to shout out, but you might like to write down. The first one is, why do you think you're procrastinating? So why do you think you're procrastinating? And I'll give you some clues. Sometimes it can feel that you have a lack of skills. Yeah. It might be that you feel you have a lack of time. It might be that you feel you have no help and support.
We've got you.
Oh, thank you.
Absolutely.
It might be that there is something intrinsic that you feel is actually holding you back. And you've got to then put a line next to it and think, well, what is that? Now, the easy ones to overcome are help and support, because there is masses of it, and I'm going to share some of it in a moment. If it's time management, that too is easy to resolve, very easy to resolve. And I would say that the time management one, I'd like to do that as a separate coaching, because there is lots you can do in regards to time management. And certainly in skills, that can be achieved. The big one is if you're feeling, I can't be bothered, I feel a bit down about it all, nothing motivates me. It doesn't matter how much I hear everything going on. I hear people being excited and doing loads. For example, Stuart Edmonston achieved his personal best last month. Stuart brought in 20 customers. 20, it was 20 in total, but 20 that were all with at least 3 core services, and nearly all of them were homeowners, and he brought in 3 partners, and he's helped partners to actually get to QD. So he's supporting. He's done masses and masses. And by the way, this is a man with 4 children at interesting ages. He is quite heavily involved in the family setup. And there's a dog. And he has several fingers in other pies as well. And I can say that the reason I'm mentioning Stuart is it's an interesting thing, because Stuart hasn't lost any more of his responsibilities, okay, in background, family and work and everything. And yet now he's achieved. What was it that took place to put him into super action that enabled that to happen? And most of it is what goes on in there. It's mindset. Always has been, always will be. There is a fabulous saying by Henry Ford, and he said, if you believe you can, and if you believe you can't, you're right. And that is actually astonishing, isn't it? So it's all about the little person talk. Does anyone sometimes feel that they have one of those like Yodas from Star Wars sitting on their shoulder? There's a good Yoda and there's a bad Yoda. And sometimes the bad Yoda, full of negativity, is constantly at you. No, you can't make that call. You can't do that. And other days, it feels that bad Yoda has dropped off and good Yoda is going, well done you, you're on the way. Can I say I have those days too? And it's all about what's going on in there. So what I'm going to share with you, first of all, is a couple of things that might help. There is an amazing book, and it's by Simon Selleck, and it's called Start With Why. And the interesting thing I want to share with you is when we recruit a new partner, they are sort of like fresh out the bag, aren't they? Brand new, full of excitement and everything. And what we start with when we recruit a new partner is always their why. What made them decide to even join? What was it that they, and we can lose sight of that. And sometimes our why, as time goes on, due to circumstances and what goes on behind us, family, responsibilities and everything, our why can change tremendously. You can actually be incredibly successful. And if you have no why, you won't actually go any further. And this is worth writing down. Please write this down. It's amazing. There is a chap called Steve Bartlett, B-A-R-T-L-E-T-T. And he interviews Simon Selleck on a podcast through YouTube. And I will happily send this out to you guys. One of my things that I say to myself See, I'm being honest here. I sometimes say, oh, I've got no time for reading. And I love reading. I've got no time for that personal development. But you know what? That's just not true. It's all about, do I want to make time? Because actually, we all have, don't we? We all have these hours. And in fact, let's write this down because it's so important. I want you to write down 168 hours. Believe it or not, that's the number of hours every single human being has in a week. And then underneath 168, I want you to write down how many hours is taken care by bed. Now, that might be getting ready in the morning, getting ready for bed, cleaning teeth, all that stuff, showering. How many hours is taken care of that? Okay, then I want you to put down all the fundamentals, the things that actually have to be done. So this could be that you work in a day job. Excuse the expression day job, but you know what I mean. It could be that you've got your own business and you have to do certain hours for that. So all these hours, please work it out in the week, how many. Then you've got to be honest with yourself, because do you know what? Preparing food and eating food takes time. So I would say in most people's day, preparing, eating, everything, washing up, whatever it may be, that's at least 2 hours a day. So there's 14 hours in a week gone. Then there might be things like gym. You might actually always go to the gym. I've got daughters that the gym is one of their most fundamental things in their lives. Yeah. At the moment, I'm into about week 5 now on a training of my own doing. And I use the guest room and I put my mat down and I'm doing a combination of chiropractic exercises combined with yoga and other stuff. And it takes me now about 40 minutes each day. And I've decided if I don't use it, I'm going to lose it. So it's become a fundamental. But there you are. Now I'm taking another 40 minutes every day out of my day. So there's a great excuse for Lisa to say, I've got no time to read, develop myself. Well, actually, I found a way of doing both. This is super cool. This is a woman multi-skilling, because I love reading and I've got books galore. But the trouble is, when you read, you can't do anything else. So what I've started to do is make use of YouTube. And it all started with this incredible thing I told you, this Steve Bartlett interview. It's a diary of a CEO. It's called Diary of a CEO. And it took me 2 sessions of my workout, 2 days, and I'd listened to just over an hour and a half podcast. So I was able to do my stuff and personally develop myself. And do you know what? It actually made me feel energized and excited for the day. How cool is that? Combining. Have I now got an excuse that I haven't got time to personally develop myself? No, I haven't. I've actually shown myself that actually I can do stuff. I can do more. So, for example, going off for a walk, getting my exercise, earphones in, phone on you, podcasts. Amazing. And I've done quite a lot of those since I've moved here. So I'm giving you ideas, okay? Because the biggest thing to get you going is we've got to get the head right. Got to. It's so important because we can feed ourselves so much negativity. Come on, let's be honest, guys. Isn't it true that the outside world is throwing so much stuff at us? So much negative. I mean, gosh, you know, the last 24 hours, I could reel you off stuff that is just seriously disempowering. And it can actually, you know, when you hear something over and over again, it gets in you, doesn't it? And it actually has a negative impact. But positive stuff, if you keep feeding positive stuff in, it gives you a positive impact. So what stuff can I help you with? Well, the incredible Stuart Edmonston is hoping to fill up his car, and he is, whether he fills it up or not, coming to Bournemouth Buzz this Thursday the 9th. And he's going to be talking about all the things that has helped him have his personal best May. That's good, isn't it? But I'm going to share something else. Don't know if you can see it. It's an absolute classic. It's Alan with the 2 L's, peas, as in peas pudding hot. And it's questions are the answers. Now, again, it's a book. But you know what? Today, a brand new person that I've brought in, I've just sent him. I went on YouTube, I found it, and I forwarded it by WhatsApp to this new recruit and said, listen to this. This is going to have masses of impact to help you. Because the whole recruiting process is not about selling. In fact, actually, getting customers is not about selling. It's all about listening. We have 2 ears and 1 mouth, and we're really bad. We don't use it in that order. We're all guilty. We all tend to go, bleh, verbal diarrhea. When actually, if we listened to people's woes and we asked questions, the answers come back. And what happens is you can truly, truly get inquiries, whether it's to customers or prospects for the business, and it's all about that. So that's my next top tip. It's that. Okay. And that is going to seriously help your mind. By the way, Alan Pease is an Australian, and he is probably one of the funniest network marketers I have ever experienced live. In fact, I nearly wet myself. He's so funny. He really is. He makes you roar. And when you listen to the YouTube questions are the answers, you will roar as well. It's very, very clever, and it's live. It's very good. Okay. And I've tried this out myself and it works. Okay. So I've given you some ideas on that. Now, the next thing is, well, what kind of other support is there? So I'm going to share my screen, because I always think we're out to help people become independent distributors. I think they need to start calling it independent partners. I don't know why we've got the word distributor anymore. Yeah. Just to share with you, and some of you will smile that knew my late husband, but he was a man of not many words, but he did used to listen a lot, and he was very, very insightful. And he came out with a fantastic phrase, and it's so true. He used to say, a distributor isn't a distributor until he's distributing. So if you think about that, isn't that true? So if you're full of anticipation, if you're full of, I will do, I might do, I'm going to, all the going tos, all the procrastination doesn't actually make you a distributor doing what you should be doing. So we're actually out to help you get going. So if you can all see my screen, I'm hoping you can see my desktop. Yours might look slightly different if you're at a different level. But what I want you to do is just jot this stuff down, go to Learning Portal, and then A to Z, always the quickest way through. And then I'm going to press G, because in here is something fabulous. It's called goal getting. And within goal getting, this is what you want. It's a sneak peek, helps you get to grips with the basics of goal setting. But for more detailed guidance, why not have and listen to Senior Group Leader Chris Williams' podcast on goal setting for network marketers. And I would actually say it is absolutely brilliant. And then further down the page, here we are, other stuff that could be useful. The Law of Averages by Alan Pease. Oh, please, please. Absolutely brilliant. Because we can get bogged down with negativity when we hear, I'm just going to stop the share a minute so I can see you. We can get bogged down with negativity when we hear the word no a few times. Anybody ever feel crushed when someone says no? Ever had an appointment and then they've cancelled? Ever thought they ask you to call and then you phone and they never answer? Is it just me that gets that? I still get it all the time. And I'll tell you what, it doesn't make one feel very good. Because if you get enough of it, like anything in repetition, you start to think, I've lost it. I've forgotten how to do this. I'm doing something wrong. Now, not so. Alan P says there is something called the law of averages, that if you do something often enough, you do actually get better. And I'll quickly share a little insight going back, could be as much as 18 years ago now, when I first started. Okay, I've been in nearly 20 years, but I have to be honest with everyone, for 2 years, doing one customer a month doesn't make a business. Okay, I'm on about when I decided to get going. And one of the things that I did was I created a questionnaire. Funny enough, they now call it, well, they call it a 20k giveaway. We used to call it a whamful, but I created the forerunner to this, and I decided to use it in many ways. And one of them was, when I felt I didn't have enough in numbers, I dared myself to go out and knock doors. This is prior to neighbour letters. Oh, so I had a clipboard and I had my little questionnaires, and I used to knock the doors. And I can remember when I first started, I was extremely nervous. In fact, I nearly made every excuse under the sun not to go and do this. And I'm sharing this with you because it's important. And that was like, the weather's not right. Oh, it's about to rain. Of course, it never did rain, did it? But you could actually, you could have anything to make an excuse. It's called procrastination. But anyway, I decided, feel the fear and do it anyway. Heard that expression? Go for it, Lisa. What is the worst that can happen? They can say no. So I went knocking doors, and people would answer, and I would say to them, I'm doing a survey. I'm asking 4 questions. I wonder if you'd participate. Now, what interested me was the amount of people that said, oh, what's it all about? Ah, isn't that fascinating? Because actually that's what we want to show them. But lots of people asked me, what was it all about? And I said, oh, well, that's what my 4 questions are about. Could I just ask you? I'm not going to take your name or anything, but it's absolutely intrinsic to my survey. And many people said yes. Anyway, I'd asked the questions, and what it was very leading. You can imagine what they were. They were very basic. I think the first question was, do you ever feel you're paying too much for your services at home? You know, I mean, if someone says no, most people will say yes, won't they? You know, it's one of those questions that sort of procures a yes. And then I think another question was, and what services, what companies are you with for things like energy and mobile and that? And then I think there were these 4 questions. And what happened was that some people would still at the end say, no, I'm not interested to have a comparison. And I'd say, thank you very much for your time. And by the way, hear this out, guys. By the way, I've just earned £2, even for a no. So thank you for your time. And they'd go, oh, how interesting. One lady said to me, what do you get for a yes? And I said, well, in those days, we didn't used to get as much as you do now, because now you could say £250, couldn't you? The maximum we could get was 20. And I used to say £20. And she'd say, really? And I say, yeah, but there is more as well. Anyway, so I remember going down this path, knocking the door, and this door opened with a chain on it. This voice was around the door. Who's that? And I said, oh, hello. I said, my name's Lisa Ware. I have got my ID badge. I'm doing a survey. Lots of people are being very nice and helpful. Would you mind answering 4 questions? No. I said, oh, right, that's fine. I've just earned £2. Thank you very much. And all of a sudden the door opened proper. And this woman said, hang on a minute. What do you mean you've just earned £2? I haven't done anything. I said, no. I said, £2 is good by me. I'm happy. Off I go. No, come back here, young lady. And I said, but you weren't interested. Well, I want to know what it's about now. And I share with you, that lady turned out to become a customer. She instantly was interested as soon as I asked the 4 questions, made the appointment, went the next day, and she's been with me ever since. How fascinating is that? Now, what I want to share is, on the road, I was writing the numbers of the road down, and every one that was like a no, it's very negative to see no, isn't it? Or a cross, don't you think? So what I was doing was that I'd write the numbers of the road, write the name of the road, and I'd write £2. £2. And then when I got a yes, I'd write £20. And then when I looked at it and added it all up, the reality was all those £2 would often procure a £20. And it worked out. And the ratios were there, the law of averages. And the better I got, and the more I did it, the more confident I became, the more animated I became, the more people were interested in doing my questionnaire. And actually, it was about the consistency thing. Do something enough and you will get better. And if you don't do it consistently, and, you know, there is that old joke constantly, you know, Rob Barra says, you don't get a body like this going to the gym once a month. You got to go every day. And it's absolutely true. It's the same with this. But what it does is it gives you confidence. Now, I've just shared a little story, which is actually true. It's not a maid's. What I just said, that is absolutely true. Steve Critch would vouch for it, because I remember ringing him after an hour and telling him what I was doing. And he roared with laughter and he said, oh, Lisa, that is wonderful. And I hadn't heard of Alan Pease then. It was just something that I did. And what I want to share is the mindset got better. My mindset improved because I felt I was improving. And how do we improve? And that's by doing. So all the procrastination sadly won't help. We've got to do the do. So it's a very, very quick, it was an extremely quick half an hour, but I'm going to go into other areas of this kind of stuff. And I hope that was helpful. And see you next week, because I've got to go, because I've got to get on another call.
Can I just ask quickly, Lisa, sorry?
Yeah.
If you believe you can and if you believe you can't, what was the last line?
You are
Henry
right.
Ford.
You are
You are
right.
right.
Isn't that awful? But that tells you
Yeah,
mindset is so strong. And the way to get out of mindset is actually to do stuff.
yeah.
It is to get on and do it, no matter how small. And actually, if you still feel this huge fear, please buddy up with someone. You can do it by Zoom. Get with someone, start chatting, start doing, make yourself accountable. It really matters. I've had a success buddy a couple of years ago, you know, when lockdown happened. It had a horrible effect. I think it did for many. And so my success buddy was Sarah Riley, another senior group leader. And what we did, we had a call in every Friday. It was about 4 o'clock. And it's funny, you know, when you've got someone that you've got to tell what you've been up to, it's funny how you get on and do stuff because you can't bear the thought of saying to them, I didn't do anything. So anyway, sharing that with you guys, please forgive me that I've got to fly, but I hope that was of some help to you. And
Thank
see you
you.
next week.
Thanks.
Thank you so much.
You.
Bye.